Irish of Notre Dame against a group ready to ascend to that station, receiving votes out of the SEC, the Georgia Bulldogs. Welcome everyone back in Game 3 here on Flow Sports. Corey Brooks alongside SEC legend. And so here we go, right, Jennifer, because this is going to be arguably the game of the tournament. Two just incredible squads that are going to make their impact felt no matter what here in Daytona.
And Georgia really focusing on that defensive efforts. That's what they're known for in SEC and in the nation, their defensive efforts. And can they hold on to it tonight against a very well Notre Dame team?
Going to be a lot of fun. Niele Ivey in her second year at the helm of this Notre Dame squad. 5-0. They have not been challenged, not even close. They have blown out everybody. The Georgia Bulldogs, they've done the exact same thing, Jennifer.
Yeah, Notre Dame, I mean, they're not necessarily led by, but they have two super freshmen with Olivia Miles, Sonia Cintron. I mean, these two are going to be exciting to watch tonight again. And then they have to be dealing with Q Morrison, one of the graduate seniors for Georgia. So we'll see what happens.
Let's talk about some of those players with Kat. Kat, take it away.
Expect today an absolute great game between these two undefeated programs from the ACC and the SEC. First up, you got the Fighting Irish. Key player and national player watch from the Wooden Award watch list is a preseason ACC player, and she's the reigning Rookie of the Year from the ACC, Maddie Westbeld. She averages over 16 points a game, and she has had 5 straight double figures. She's someone that the Fighting Irish are going to depend on to get the job done today. And if we head over to Georgia, the 2021 SEC Coach of the Year, Joni Taylor, knows exactly what she's doing, and especially it's with the help of Steady Stady. Jenna Stady is the woman who has the all-around leader in points, rebounds, and blocks. She's a the Lisa Leslie Award watch list as a center, and she's someone that has scored in double figures the last 35 of 40 games. So you can expect those two players to be the keys for each one's victory. Sending it back to y'all.
Thank you, Kat. Yeah, a lot to look forward to. And Maddie Westbeld, a dynamic scorer. You heard Kat mention she's got 5 straight double-figure games. That's every single game for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. She has been unbelievable this year. And on the flip side, Steady Stady done a nice job. She's got double-double in half the games for Georgia. So, I mean, you could talk about the players on both these teams for days, but all it culminates to is just a dynamic matchup. Let's see what these teams have to do overall as we take a look at our keys to this matchup between Notre Dame and the Georgia Bulldogs.
And we have Notre Dame, again, we talked about their guard play. It is strong, but also, too, clogging the lanes. Again, big thing for them is going to be making sure that offensively they're able to attack Georgia and still get their shots. Again, talking about Georgia, if we talk about what Joni Taylor and I and Corey, we spoke about earlier this week about we can't trade 2s for 3s, right? So Notre Dame's going to be hot from the three-point line. They need to be able to combat that on their own end. Again, honoring the work. Big thing is they're putting the work in. They're defensively wise, again, they are shutting teams down. They are holding teams. They're second in the SEC right now in scoring defense, holding teams to 60.5 points per game. Again, that's the big thing. And depth on the floor. They have 10 returners, and she is known for playing all of them. So let's make sure that we have a lot of fun tonight, and I'm excited.
Yeah, Coach Taylor utilizes that full roster. Georgia's got one of the biggest, and we are going to see a good chunk from here today. Let's see the first 5 starters being announced here at the Ocean Center. Let's go ahead and do the same for you here on Flow Hoops for this Notre Dame Fighting Irish team. Dara Mabry, right out of the gate, one of those top starters you see right there, wearing number 1, a dynamic scorer, and top to bottom, she does a nice job. But I think the matchup that's going to be really, really exciting is at the opposite ends of this spectrum. You look at Maya Dawson, first there for Notre Dame, and all the way at the end for Georgia, Q Morrison. A lot of guard play going to be center stage here today.
And Q Morrison is going to want to get into Olivia Miles again. For that one, Olivia Miles, even though she was able to play last year early, she's still technically a freshman. So we're going to be able to see how this graduate senior can really disrupt what Olivia Miles is trying to get involved, which is get them into their offense.
Miles at 10 points a game. Maya Dodson, one of the great scorers as well. That is the opening 10 for both Notre Dame and Georgia. You heard mention of Joni Taylor. She is in her 7th year. 4 WNBA draft picks for Coach Taylor in 6 seasons at the head of this Georgia program. They have continued to build institutional momentum. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, Niele Ivey taking over for one of the unquestioned greats of all time in Muffet McGraw, and Coach Ivy taking over amidst the COVID pandemic, a wild turnover situation. Despite that, she has one of the best recruiting classes in the country and has Notre Dame ready for this matchup against Georgia.
Absolutely. Again, SEC versus Notre Dame. Here we go.
SEC versus ACC. You always got to hesitate with Notre Dame.
I know, we got to hesitate because there's all those switches.
In hoops, and they have made their mark. The rest of the teams in the ACC might wish Notre Dame wasn't independent in hoops. Two great squads. First of two incredible matchups here in the night session. After this, we have a top 20 clash between Oregon State and Michigan, but a long way to go. We get to watch some artistry over the course of the next 4 quarters. Happy to have you here on Flow Hoops.
Fighting Irish fans in the house!
Best crowd on hand for any of the games we've had yet. Again, you expect that with what these two teams bring to the table. Dara Mabry will start, and here come the Irish to begin the game. Miles nearly lost it. Instead, she goes up, and it's a quick 2 for Olivia Miles.
That little hesitation was just enough to get distract Q for her to be able to score that first 2 buckets.
Now we get our first look at this Georgia offense. Michaela Coombs starting as the primary ball handler, moving Q Morris into that shooting guard role. She's got it now. Coombs inside, back out. Morrison uncontested, in and out.
Notre Dame looking to push here early.
Trying to make Georgia uncomfortable. Baseline J for Maya Dodson, 4-0 start for the Irish.
Interesting, unlike the first 2 games that we saw today, Notre Dame is coming in hot.
Yeah. We saw with Mississippi State, they're the other SEC team in this tournament. They were a little slow to begin, but I think these next 4 teams might be ready to go in every sense. Oh, wide open, steady calms the run.
You will not see that often. A wide open, steady in the paint.
Coach Ivy not going to love that for Notre Dame. That's how Georgia scores first. Stady started this season with 16 against GW. Has been incredible since. Nice shot for Maddie Westbeld.
Maddie Westbeld.
Coombs and company save it. Coombs attacking. Off the knee, Notre Dame basketball.
Fighting Irish.
We're going to see this a lot. Q just trying to disrupt and make Olivia as uncomfortable as possible.
Yep. It's a bit of that token pressure until it's very much not. Nice entry pass. Stady, though, says not this time.
The ball stays with the Fighting Irish.
Stady had 10 blocks on the year. That was tied for a team high. She's now by herself with 11 on this UGA roster. And a miscue from Notre Dame.
Turnover. The ball belongs to the Lady Bulldog.
Q Morrison got to bring it down for the first time into Stady. Back out. Good trap right up against the baseline, but Georgia escaping with a foul.
The foul is on Notre Dame. Number 34, Maddie Westbeld.
Jordan Isaacs did a good job weathering the storm.
First.
Barker. Q Morrison in rhythm. Still adjusting to the sight lines. Whistle on Georgia, very nearly out of bounds. Instead, an infraction on Jordan Isaacs.
Jordan Isaacs, her first personal, team first.
Yeah, ill-advised foul on that one, pushing away from the basket.
Replacing number
Might have gotten the ball back, or at the very least, you just add a foul to your tally when you didn't necessarily have to. Peoples directing traffic. Sam Burnell into the game for the first time for Notre Dame.
Again, seeing that pressure from Q Morrison.
Sticking with Miles every step. Ball lost. Georgia looking to reclaim tie-up jump ball. Possession arrow does indeed belong to the Dogs.
Possession belongs to the Fighting Irish. No, correction, the Lady Bulldogs.
Offensive foul. We've talked about it in every single game.
The foul is on the
And
Lady
it stays true here.
Bulldogs, number 20.
Refs are looking
second
for
personal.
the post players moving their feet on
Number
those high
11
screens.
For the Fighting Irish, Sonia.
Hopefully Georgia will be able to
Enters the
learn
game.
from it the first time and then not make that mistake twice.
Most teams have adapted. We'll see what the Bulldogs do. Nicholson's into the game, by the way, for head coach Joni Taylor in Georgia. Dara Mabry. Up top, Miles. Liv Miles, so smooth when she gets rolling.
5, Olivia Miles.
Just a great attack, even on a top defender like Q Morrison.
The first ever early enrollee for the University of Notre Dame. That added experience last year has made a huge difference. No shot, too many steps for Nicholson. There you got to look at Joni Taylor.
Again, SEC Coach of the Year last season. 6th season as a head coach.
Two-time national semifinalist for Coach of the Year. One of the elites in a top caliber conference in the SEC. Drive in, not this time for Miles. Q Morrison, aggressive, and the spin.
Great take by Q Morrison again. If you did not stop them, they will run it right down your throat.
Straight away, pure as it gets for Sam Burnell.
Sam Burnell.
Sam has gotten better and better each year with Notre Dame. Big field goal percentage jump from year 1 to year 2, and it's even higher third time around. Q fighting for it, nearly there for Dara. Instead, it's 2 points for Nicholson.
David Nicholson.
Way to make something out of nothing there. Again, almost a turnover, but ending up 2 points.
Maya Dodson rejected. Stady's got her second block. And a turnover on Sarah Ashley Barker. Under 5 to go here in this first quarter. The Irish, aggressive early. They're in control against UGA live on Flow Hoops. Back at the Ocean Center. Teams, Notre Dame shooting well early on. 5 of their first 8 have gone down. Georgia doing well in that same category. 3 of 5. The difference, Notre Dame has got more shots. Inside, a little bit too much gas. Peoples was asking for a tip that is not going to come. Georgia ball.
A turnover off a timeout. Coaches are never happy about that.
Out of the timeout and off the inbound. Georgia's managed to make a couple of Notre Dame mistakes come about. Dead ball situations, something early on. Barker, straight away, pure.
Number 3. Sarah Lee
Again, there was an article put out there about Sarah, just talking about her experience at freshman year, sophomore year, how she's really been able to settle in this year.
Yeah.
It's the speed of the game is the biggest thing, and then her also just knowing what to expect in practice.
She had a great rebound there. Was awesome in that category against Mercer with 9. Started slow in terms of shooting, 3 of 12, but has really started to lock in as Georgia continues to just impress. Stady fouled. Whistle on Dara Mabry.
Foul is on Notre Dame, number 1, Dara Mabry. Her first personal, team second. Number 5, Miles enters the game, replacing number 1, Mabry.
Again, Jenna Stady, ability to have double figures in 34 of the 39 games.
Yeah, she's been incredible. First free throw, no good. At about 70% on the season is Jenna Stady in that category. 0 of 2 here. Notre Dame will take that. Miles.
They're so strong.
Number 5, Olivia Miles.
The freshman Olivia Miles. Again, that early enrollment doesn't count because of the COVID year. So a true freshman, in quotes, Olivia Miles. Looking like anything but for the Irish this season.
We were talking with her head coach just about how that extra year of being with the strength and conditioning coach, getting that strength again. She didn't lift much in high school, so her ability to be able to really put some time in, get some strength, especially when she's dealing, battling in January and February is huge.
Right. Can be a bit of a mixed bag in theory. Her first game, as opposed to the usual warm-up, she goes right to the Carrier Dome to play Syracuse. That is far from simple. But there's no question it's paid some really long-term dividends, and we're only starting to see it for what Liv Miles has in this Notre Dame program. First for Stady is good. So Jenna hopes to answer the 0 of 2 with 2 of 2, and does just that. Mallory Bates enters for the first time here for UGA.
Mallory Bates enters the game, number 22 for the Lady Bulldogs.
Westbell guarded by Nicholson. Inside, too much. And right to Barker. Her strong rebounding start continues. It's already picked up 3. Side, turnaround, tough shot, executed brilliantly by Bates.
Mallory Bates.
And that's just a great solid. Take your time. Nice turnover or hook shot right over her defender.
Good read by Coombs, and she does get the steal. Barker in transition, no. Don't often see that. Other way, plenty of time and space. Peoples, yes, long 2.
And that's the thing with Notre Dame, they will make you pay for missed layups.
Georgia loves to run. Notre Dame takes advantage. Peoples to Miles. Miles through contact to free throws for Liv Miles.
Crafty Olivia Miles again, making sure that she extends her arm out, so even if she goes over, she's still able to get that shot up.
Richardson enters the game, replacing number 3.
To think she's only a freshman. We have 4 more years with her. Or 3 more years, I should say, with her.
This year's hardly starting. I think 4 is probably fair. Her first no good. Yeah, this freshman class. 2 players for Notre Dame. Olivia Miles, who enrolled early, and Sonia Citron, who we'll see in a little bit, who has been as dynamic as any freshman in the start of this season. one of the best recruiting classes in the entire country for Coach Ivey at Notre Dame. And those two were AAU teammates for the Philly Bells. That makes scouting a little bit easier. Q Morrison pulls up just inside the free throw line, won't go. Q still trying to find the sight lines here in Daytona. There is Citron's outlet taken away by Coombs. Coombs, what a sweet pass. Richardson tried to save it. Olivia Miles diagnosed it. Olivia Miles, the give, the lay, and a rebound for Mallory Bates.
Turnover, the ball belongs.
Turnover. The most frenetic pace we've seen yet here at the Ocean Center.
And Anaya Peoples being able to just slightly rip that ball out of Mallory's hands, kicking the ball out of bounds. Interesting play just then.
7 turnovers for UGA. Notre Dame not very far behind, though, with 6. So both teams being incredibly aggressive, hunting the basketball. Miles, entry pass right to Michaela Coombs. Coombs pushing. Richardson, nearly an and one. Again, Richardson to the line for 2 shots.
Olivia having to adjust to the speed on defense for Georgia. Again, their ability to get into the passing lanes.
Team 4.
Chloe Chapman checks in for the Bulldogs.
At the line, number 21.
When we talk about the dynamic freshman for Notre Dame, it's only fair we talk about the McDonald's All-American Reagan Richardson, who misses the first. Comes out with 16 points against Alabama State in the most recent game for UGA and has been playing very well as of late. 6 points per game so far. Member of the Jordan Brand national team. Goes 0 of 2. Free throws have been anything but for Georgia. Naya Peoples and Olivia Miles. Citron. Nat Marshall, her first shot. Leads to a second chance put back for Notre Dame and Peoples. Coombs, baseline, Jimmy left a bit short. Notre Dame looking to push pace in the final minute. Largest lead is 7. They had a chance to get it back there, still do, and Maya Dodson reestablishes the margin.
Led by an aggressive Olivia Miles, though, getting to the basket literally whenever she wants to.
The program changer, Maya Dodson. Shot clock off. Richardson, step back. Notre Dame's gonna have a chance. Coombs, another steal, and that is how the first quarter ends.
At the end of the
20
first
to
quarter.
13, Irish
Notre Dame
fighting
out
early.
20.
Georgia
The Lady Bulldogs,
playing well,
13.
but turnovers and free throws plaguing the Bulldogs on Flow Hoops. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame up nearly double digits because of an explosive first quarter. They got it done. Maya Dodson hitting shots. Maddie Westbeld draining it. Sam Burnell from three. Olivia Miles, the spark plug. Notre Dame, every which way, they are finding ball to nylon. Marshall inbounds, back underway here in the second.
Get a chance to see the other All-American for Georgia with Jillian Hollishead.
Hollingshead checking in. First time that Georgia has ever brought two McDonald's All-Americans in the same class. There is the other besides Hollingshead, Reagan Richardson for three. Bulldogs playing good out of the quarter break. Coombs has been incredibly aggressive in the passing lanes and parlays it into a Chapman two.
Her ability to just get into the passing lane is disrupting Notre Dame.
5 unanswered in about 45 seconds of game time. The dog mentality on display. Westbeld to answer. Had the line, not the height. Richardson. Almost.
Same spot almost.
Yeah. Peoples wanted to run there in transition. Miles has some space. And once she gets going, she's tough to stop. Too much Karam, though. Right to Stady on the board. Oh, Miles saw it coming. How about the instincts from the freshman? Freshman to freshman to freshman. There it is, Miles, Citron, the Notre Dame duo at the helm of the Irish attack for years to come. Hollingshead, unable to get it that time. Advantage Nat Marshall. Patience underneath, not rewarded. Stady.
Uncharacteristic for the Bulldogs to be slow on the comeback.
Coach Taylor directing traffic over there. Coombs into Stady. Gets her own miss. Stat stuffing showing.
I was going to say, pack the stats on that rebound.
Stady. Number 14, Jenna Stady.
Averaging nearly a double-double already on the season. But this is far and away the best competition that each team has faced. Notre Dame coming off of a win against Bryant. The Bulldogs coming off of a victory against Alabama State. The opposing jerseys are very different than those two as Maddie Westbeld scores. Coombs. Hollingshead nearly the ORB. Instead, Peoples and Miles. Wide open. Clean for Sonia Citron.
Miles is picking apart the Georgia defense right now in that open court.
Joni Taylor calls time out. Notre Dame marching in Daytona on Flow Hoops.
we got team.
Notre Dame looking to move to 6-0. Georgia hoping for 5-0. So far, the Irish, the ones shooting well. Behind number 5 right there, Olivia Miles and her head coach, Niele Ivey, one of the greatest guards to ever play the game. Around all 9 Final Fours for Notre Dame as a player and a coach. Primarily focused on the guards as a coach. And when you can say you have tutored Diggins and Ogunbowale, that is a resume. Whoa, tower block by Maya Dodson.
That is impressive with a two-handed block, no foul.
Looking like she was at a volleyball net there. Miles trying to get the whistle. One does come, but it signifies a Georgia possession. Fighting Irish coming off of a 10-10 campaign, 2-3 in non-conference play, so they're way ahead of their non-con last year. And obviously, with so much happening, that was always going to be a challenging season, but I think people looked at that resume, looked at the non-conference opponents that Notre Dame has played so far, and thought his team was bound for a similar record. That is pretty clearly not the case. One of the most underrated teams in the country here in Notre Dame. And Georgia's not too far behind in that category, receiving votes. These are 2 of the top 25 teams in the country, make no mistake about it.
100%, 100%.
Miles steps inside the right elbow. Battle underneath with Barker. She did get it out to Q. Hollingshed, long 2.
In rhythm. Nice shot by the All-American.
Hollingshed averaging a few buckets per game. Already gets ahead of that pace here, and you can see the stroke. When it's there, it's going to be clean. Brunel nearly answered for Notre Dame. Foul on Hollingshed. Irish ready to bring in some subs. Sonia Citron, Prohaska coming in as well for Notre Dame.
Team first.
Got to reset the shot clock.
He was quick with it, though. That was a very quick fix.
Long ball, good catch. A back shoulder throw, looking like Notre Dame football there. Offensive foul.
And it's undefeated with time.
The foul
The
on
post
the Fighting Irish, number 33, Sam
pick
Brunel, her
is
second
going to be
personal
called
team
if you do
first.
not set your feet, or even
Number
in this
34,
situation,
Westbelt,
a little bit of a
replacing
nudge to the
number
shoulder.
33.
They're going to call that every single
Brunel
time.
for the Irish.
So the whistle on Brunel. Bulldogs trying to make it a 1-bucket game nearing halftime. Trying to catch fire on offense, these Georgia Bulldogs. So stout defensively. What are the answers on this side? Is it Q? Not yet. Citron trying to find Dodson. Hollingshed made that difficult. Good work down on the baseline. The Flow Hoops camera is preserved underneath the basket. Objective number 1 down there. Aaron Mabry. Citron. Another offensive rebound. She got her own miss, but Stady in there. Not going to get too many chances with her.
Great follow, though. After a miss, again, still being able to retrieve your shot.
Hollingshed. 2.
Jillian Hollingshed.
Jillian Hollingshed starting to find her best game yet. in the early makings of it. Dodson unable to answer. Hollingshed fights and ultimately secures a Georgia possession.
Right now, we're seeing the tail of the freshman really coming in and making an impact in this game.
So many good established players, but there's no doubt about it. The newcomers making the impact. Here is Q Morrison, anything but a newcomer for this Georgia team.
One could say the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, the literal polar opposite, yes. The grad student, Q Morrison. Too many steps there on the inside for Mallory Bates. And Morrison, preseason All-SEC, the minute leader for Georgia. They trust her as much as any player in the country. 2 times All-Defense in the SEC and the co-depoy.
Here she is again.
Yep, for that exact reason. It's going to stay on this end, though. Georgia thought differently.
With the Fighting Irish.
And that's when Sarah, I'm sure, wants back. Again, she had an opportunity to get that, and that could have opened layup.
Bounce pass underneath, caught by the bottom of the basket. Oh, quick takeaway by Sonia Citron. And they give it right back. Possession has been hard to come by. In rhythm. 2 free throws for Sarah Ashley Barker.
One thing about Combs is she is good on that fast break to give it up.
Yeah.
Her first personal, team second. Number 21 Peoples, number 5
Taylor
Miles,
Coombs
enter the game. Replacing
recruited
number 12.
incredibly hard out of high school. Winds up going to UConn. And if you go to UConn, you're good. If you play 56 games for UConn, you are a special player. She winds up coming to Georgia and enriching this team that much more.
Barker
Reminds me of, not necessarily the same story, but Elena Deldon.
Very similar.
Elena Deldon, I don't think lasted as long as Combs did. Took a step on that. She's like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But now she's had a great career in WNBA.
It's worked out pretty well for Elena Deldon.
She probably could have gone anywhere, and things would have been fine with her.
I think so. Citron. Speaking of players that could have gone just about anywhere, misses that time, though. Good fight underneath by Maya Dodson. But it's Georgia ball.
Possession. Belongs to the Lady Bulldogs.
Not gonna lie, Corey, this kind of game is making me want to sit up again.
Hey, listen, these kids aren't ready for that, all right?
My knees aren't ready. My knees are not ready for that, or my ankles,
Give it
or
some
my
time.
hips.
Give it some time. Listen, we're talking about an SEC legend. They don't throw that out for everybody.
My body is answering for it.
Traveling is the call.
Too many steps. Yeah, we'll see. I think the player probably most comparable to the way that Jennifer George played is coming up in our next game. It's most comparable. That's it.
Like I said, I'm a hybrid. That Jamaican Trini, I don't know if anyone's ready for that.
Now we're getting a look at some pretty good players in this game, too. Olivia Miles is one of them. Had the line. Morrison, outlet. Barker stays home. 2 for Sarah Ashley Barker on a great feed for Q Morrison.
And able to finish with contact here again. First 2 times she was not able to, being able to finish this time.
The Bulldogs have taken the lead.
Seems like this is a Georgia crowd.
Yep. Not too bad a drive from Athens to Daytona.
I was going to say rightfully so.
Turnover.
And you can hear it. Coach Ivy telling her team, calm down, patience. Georgia looking to rattle Notre Dame.
Notre Dame now showing a 2-3 defense.
Trying to get Georgia off of this run. An 8-0 surge for the Bulldogs. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, the complete opposite side of the coin, 0 of their last 8. Haven't scored a point in 5 minutes. You knew Georgia would come surging when that lead was all the way at 7. This one's not going to be easy for either team. Coombs inside, rejected. Maya Dodson says no thank you.
Lack of movement, though, on that possession. Georgia, a lot of the players were just standing it while they watched Michaela Coombs try to attack the basket.
We talk about Michaela Coombs, an impact transfer. Certainly true of Maya Dodson as well, playing at Stanford. Miles coming the other way. Westbeld poked away. Georgia thought it was their ball. Mallory Bates and Q Morrison combining for the pressure.
To be Olivia Miles' teammate, you have to be ready at all times.
Yeah.
The ball can come at any moment.
Inside, strong from Maya Dodson.
Maya Dodson for 2.
Played 70 games at Stanford. Opted out of last season due to COVID. Electing to transfer to Notre Dame. And you have seen the result.
That 2-3, giving the Bulldogs some trouble.
40 to go. Peoples off of the screen. Anea Peoples. Board. Julian Hollingshed. Morrison.
Q
Silky.
Morrison, number 23 for 2.
Great read there on the pull-up. Again, she had a teammate, but she decided to take it herself.
Notre Dame can write the final sentence. In this first half story, Olivia Miles, 0 to 60 in no time flat.
For 2.
Morrison, good feed. Hollingshed, 2 free throws.
Foul on the play.
Call on that bailed her
Foul
out.
on the
A great
Fighting
pass.
Irish, number 34, Maddie Westbell. Her second personal, team third. Number 15,
Now she needs to
Marshall
focus in and make these free
replacing
throws.
Number 34, Westbell.
Last gasp
At the
of this
line,
first half will be Jillian Hollingshed at the line, her first trip there today. She's taken 7 of these this season, made 6. It's always easier when the freshman comes in and can already hit free throws. It makes Coach Taylor's job that much easier.
Yes, indeed.
1 of 2. Every part of the rim but the bottom. Bulldogs come surging back. Notre Dame in an offensive lull, and it puts UGA up by 1 at halftime. Somebody is losing the undefeated record. Is it the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame or the Georgia Bulldogs? That is as good a half of basketball as you will see in the early part of the season. Both teams really, really locked in on offense, on defense, everything.
And led by, for Notre Dame, Olivia Miles, really forcing that attack. And coming up, we do have our Cat Witch, Joni Taylor from Georgia. So here you go, Cat. Let's go.
Coach Taylor, this game is a little bit closer than the past ones that you've had this season, being undefeated and beating all of your opponents by more than 15. How competitive and good for your team is this game?
Oh, this is great. We knew Notre Dame was going to be really good. They're an excellent team. They're very well coached. Neil does a good job. We've got to settle in. We're giving up too many points in transition. We're not boxing out. We've got to get back to playing Georgia basketball, finish on our offense, end of the floor. But this is what we needed. We needed a challenge. You knew Notre Dame would bring that to us. We got another 20 minutes to play and figure some things out.
In order to get that Georgia Dog basketball going again, what is going to be your message to your girls?
I think we just got to settle in, right? We're catching it. We're being timid with the basketball. We've got to stay aggressive. We've got to post hard, and we've got to run.
All right, well, best of luck the next half. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Sending it back to y'all.
Thank you, Kat. Always sage wisdom from the SEC coach year. We'll get a chance to catch up with Coach Ivey as well on the other side. For now, we step aside here for the first time from the Ocean Center. Notre Dame on all cylinders, but UGA barking back. Bulldogs by the narrowest possible margin at the half. Back at the Ocean Center, Corey Brooks alongside SEC legend Jennifer George. Bulldogs 31, Irish 30. As good a game as you'll find. Notre Dame being led by Liv Miles. Coming in, Georgia knew that she was the offensive focal point, and sure enough, Olivia Miles has been as advertised.
100%. I mean, Olivia Miles can do it all.
Yeah.
She is able to really hone in and control that offense every single time. On the other end, though, Michaela Coombs, 7 steals, which is the most by any Georgia player since Jacoby Barbie, who I remember was a problem when we played at Florida. So, I mean, Michaela is doing a great job. She's just getting in the passing lane, really disrupting Notre Dame and making it really tough. Again, we're seeing that in a tight contest, 30 to the Notre Dame Irish.
Yeah, Michaela Coombs is responsible for over half of those Notre Dame turnovers. She has been galaxy brain, seeing these passing lanes and taking it away. Some of the other stats there that I think are interesting: the 3-point percentage, not quite where either team would like it. Free throws, certainly not where either team would like it.
No, and then realistically, the turnovers are not necessarily too far off from each other. Notre Dame only off by 1. And then rebounds, again, it's a tight game, which, again, makes sense of where we are. 30-31, both teams. I'm interested to see how they bounce back from the halftime speeches. We'll see which coach can pump their team up a little bit more to get them going.
These are two coaches that know the game, Coach Ivy, Coach Taylor. I mean, when you talk about, especially with Whitney Ivy, you understand that because she played at such a high level for Muffin McGraw with Notre Dame, she's been in this situation once or twice where her team is in a competitive game and looking for a spark.
And I'd be remiss to say, I mean, two strong African-American coaches going head-to-head at story programs. I mean, this is one for the books, an early part of the season.
And that wasn't lost on Coach Ivy when she took over from Muffin McGraw. The first African-American coach to lead Notre Dame. That, especially at an institution the size and the scale of Notre Dame, it's incredibly important to touch on. And Joni Taylor as well. I mean, you look at UGA, and you're talking about one of the premier athletic programs across every single sport.
Nonetheless.
In the South, nonetheless. So that's unequivocally something important to touch on. Two very, very good coaches, independent of it all, but a huge, huge part for both Coach Ivy and Coach Taylor. We'll catch up with Coach Ivy in a little bit here. She's still ironing everything out here, and you expect that, right, in a game like this. You're trying to get every single minute with these teams, understanding that it's going to come down to something that's in the margins. Almost nothing separating them. Literally on the scoreboard, there is 1 point of separation between Notre Dame and Georgia, but between these two, what are you looking for in half two?
For half two, for Georgia, realistically, taking time on offense, I should say. You know, getting where they need to go to. A lot of points are missed right now with layups. So I think with them honing in on making sure that you're finishing in the paint, and for Notre Dame, making sure, again, they're getting what they want. Again, with Olivia at the helm, they're able to really get in their spots, but I would love to see a little bit more from Maddie Westbeld, who, you know, for the most part is strong throughout this whole season. So getting her started a little bit more, and I'm interested to see them do that.
Yeah, Maddie Westbeld averaging about 17 a game, but Georgia having a really strong understanding of that. She's got 6, which isn't bad, but at the same time, you know, it's a little bit off of the pace that she's really established here this season. Part of it is deferring. She took 9 shots, which is pretty high, but not, you know, otherworldly. She didn't take double-digit shots in that first half or anything like that. So they can certainly keep her involved, but credit Notre Dame. They've found other ways to score outside of Maddie.
And also, too, with Joni Taylor saying, getting back to Georgia basketball, they need to be able to do that.
No doubt about it. We've got a chance to catch up with Joni Taylor before the half. Now Niele Ivy with our very own Kat down on the baseline. Kat, take it away.
Coach, this is a very much anticipated close game. Two historic women's basketball programs. What is going to be the thing that your team has to do to get the job done today?
Definitely rebounding in our defense. I think that's the biggest key. They have a lot of offensive weapons, so we are really focused on blocking up defensively and getting rebounds so we can run.
Yeah, your M&M squad, Olivia Miles and Maddie, they have just been so explosive this year on the offensive side. What more do you need them to do?
Yeah, just taking care of the ball. We had 13 turnovers at the half. Georgia's such a great defensive team, so we just got to have more composure, stay poised, and run our stuff.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, Coach. Best of luck in the next half.
Thank you.
Sending it back to y'all.
Thank you, Kat. First word out of her mouth was rebounding. That is all the same for Notre Dame, whether it's Muffin McGraw in the LIV. Rebounding is at the core identity of this program, and they actually had the rebounding edge in that first half. They were +1, but that is what Fighting Irish basketball is about. They want to out-effort you, beat you on the boards. They're going to try and do so in half number 2 against UGA.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and we will see if we are on pace with the average for Georgia and their defensive scoring defense. Irish got about 30 more points to get to if Georgia wants to be on pace with that.
A great first half, and now we get 2 more quarters. Notre Dame, Georgia on Flow Hoops. Olivia Miles will start things out. Now Dodson going right at Stady. Won't fall.
The ball belongs to the Lady Bulldogs.
Not a bad first possession for Notre Dame. Again, going right at Stady again, hopefully trying to get her in some foul trouble.
That's pretty clearly the thinking. It's a different Georgia defense when Jenna's not on the floor, but the problem with going at Jenna Stady is that you have to go at Jenna Stady. She couldn't convert on the offensive side that time. Era held up. Here's Westbeld, guarded by Stady up top. You've got Stady out of the paint. That's a potential attacking opportunity for Notre Dame. That's where they go and convert.
Basket by number 21.
Anaya Peoples for 2.
Anaya Peoples.
Lobbed up almost for Michaela Coombs.
And that's the thing with Notre Dame. If you turn it over, they're
Number
coming
5,
back at you
Olivia
strong.
Miles.
And will make you pay. Olivia Miles again.
She has been something else. Came in averaging 10 a game. She's going to blow that out of the water.
Again, more missed opportunities for Georgia. Need to capitalize in the paint.
Number one thing for UGA. The chances are there. The process is perfect. Just need the finish. Stady, meanwhile, got to another one.
The ball stays with the Fighting Irish.
He's 6'4", Jenna Stady, and somehow plays even bigger than that. Turnaround over Stady. How about Maya Dodson answering the bell?
And that's going to be an easy layup for her every time with her being wide open under the basket like that.
Dodson's gotten more and more comfortable this season. You see it in the rebounding numbers. 7, 11, and 12 the last 3 games. The trap by Notre Dame. Barker's 2 is good.
Number 3, Sarah Ashley Barker.
Joni Taylor over there talking to her freshman. Using the teaching moment while Jillian Hollingshed gets ready to enter this game at some point. She had a really good first half. Miles, aggressive foul on Stady.
The foul is on the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, number 14. Jenna
Again, aggressive
Stady.
take by Olivia Miles, forcing the refs to make a tough call.
Olivia Miles will not be intimidated by anybody.
2 shots.
Again, not when your first game's against Syracuse.
Right, no, that
Realistically,
certainly
everything is downhill from there.
That certainly helps. But as the first doesn't go, driving right at the SEC blocked shot leader and an all-time shot stuffer in Georgia history, it takes courage. And Liv Miles has it in spades. She goes 1 of 2.
Notre Dame in a soft press. Georgia has no issue getting it down the court.
Ball movement's never going to be much of a problem for Joni Taylor's team, that's for sure.
Heat check, heat check.
Oh,
here we go.
Heating up.
Ashley Barker.
"12 points for Sarah Ashley Barker on 4 of 5. Dodson, Stady, block.
Strong take, but it looks like she might have slipped.
And lost her balance on the way in. Probably part of that, too, is Stady step for step the entire way. Some great lateral movement there by Jenna Stady. Westbeld gets it to go over Jenna. Tough shot, Maddie Westbeld. Stady. Count it.
There she is.
Is good.
Sadie.
The foul is on number
Leading
0.
scorer for UGA. They love it.
Taking her time in the paint. Again, there is no need to rush, pump fake, and go up strong.
Jenna's and one is good. We talked about how the headline here in Daytona, the super seniors, the returning players, arguably the reason for that headline is Jenna Stady.
Her and Q Morrison again, making a statement, staying in Georgia for another year.
Coach Taylor said and said publicly they had played their last game, and then as the process kind of unfolded, it turned out they could come back. The young players were excited to play with that caliber of talent. And all of a sudden, Georgia's that much better. Michaela Coombs for UGA.
Turning defense to offense. Georgia is known for that.
Miles working with Dodson. Quick shot, Morrison scrapped it. Q pushing the pace, Coombs, Barker, the entire Georgia bench is up. Boy.
Same team.
Scary collision there between two Bulldogs. Both are up though. Oh, Mabry.
Number 1, Daria Mabry.
Notre Dame fans are quite used to hearing Mabry makes it. Dara Mabry, the third in the Mabry trio, who have over 3,000 Notre Dame points. Dara started at Vatek and decided she wanted to make it a complete set for the Fighting Irish. Transferred over, too tall for Stady. Joining her sister Michaela, who's an assistant coach, and obviously the family relationship is there. And Notre Dame is more than happy to have a Mabry on the roster. It's been a decade with that being the case.
I call that a legacy.
That is legacy at this point. There's a bunch of players in this tournament. You know, their dad or mom played at the school, but you go 1, 2, 3 like that to the tune of 3,000 points across 3 players. That is as good as it gets. Speaking of, here is Mabry. Foul and a baseline inbound for Notre Dame.
The foul is on Georgia, number 22.
The whistle on Mallory Bates.
Mallory Bates.
4:47 to go in the third. Both teams head to the benches. Same as we started, it's a 1-point game. The difference is this time it's Notre Dame on top here on Flow Hoops. 42-41, the Irish, the Bulldogs, both teams receiving votes in the top 25, likely to move into it. Notre Dame has looked incredible. That collection of talent on the Fighting Irish side, they lead by the narrowest margin. Taken a while, 4.95 seconds turned into 5.
Turnover.
Tried to get it in just in time. The whistle comes right as the ball leaves. A turnover out of the timeout.
Again, and that'll make Coach Neil Ivey not so happy. Again, out of a timeout.
Especially with Neil Ivey being an outstanding passer. She's thinking, why couldn't you just make that play? But understands it, frustrated by it. Here comes UGA. Too many steps.
Traveling is the call.
First time we've mentioned Zoisha Smith today.
First game jitters as she gets in.
Her second game of the season. Only other matchup was game 2 against GW. Took that third game of the year, played against Alabama State. 14 minutes, in fact, so trending more in that direction for Zoisha Smith.
The foul is on the Fighting Irish, number 11.
The whistle is on Sonia Citron.
Sonia Citron, her first person.
And Zoisha Smith will inbound.
After a turnover, trying to get it back. Just happens to be a foul.
Could be tough, too, because you see Q Morrison doing something similar, just waiting and picking pockets. But there's a finesse to it that Q Morrison has mastered in a half decade at UGA. Turnover regardless. Mabry. Side there, Mabry dishes, beautiful pass. Layup denied through the defensive efforts of Nicholson. Nowhere on the 3. Morrison did wind up losing it. Brunel came up with it for Notre Dame. Too many steps.
Traveling is the call. Number 5, Miles.
Subtle, but that taking that one pivot foot up is definitely going to be a travel every time.
Westbeld and Miles back on. Notre Dame gets an injection of offense. Liv Miles only gets a few minutes to rest. Seeing her more and more, second on this team in minutes already as a freshman, with 140 coming into the game. Ball disrupted by Citron.
Almost a bucket.
Steady.
Almost a self basket.
Yep.
But Stady will take it just the case.
Three ball, corner pocket. A foul on the floor. The whistle is on Zoisha Smith.
The foul is on number 0. Zoisha Smith, her first personal, team 3rd.
Westbeld turns and converts.
We're seeing a little bit more of an aggressive Westbeld on this third quarter, getting a little bit more active in the offense.
That shot put her at 10 points. Q Morrison gets the foul drawn.
Number 5, Olivia Miles, her first personal, team 3rd. Number 23, Q Morrison at the line.
First free throw trip today for Q Morrison. 0 of 1. Second for the preseason all-conference guard is good.
Neither team has been able to get away from this tie or 1-point advantage.
No. Back and forth, back and forth. Georgia's largest lead of the game is 2. Came right before halftime. Notre Dame was up 7 in the early first quarter. That was as wide as it's been by a long shot. Since then, this has turned into a 12-round slugfest. Beautiful pass. And the conversion for Zoisha Smith.
Great pass by Michaela Coombs again, being able to push it in transition.
Michaela Coombs will watch on as a 2+1 for Notre Dame. Sonia Citron.
And that's something for Zoisha Smith as she grows into the player, you know, to make a point, but a little bit too many too many mistakes here in the beginning as she gets in.
Number 33, Brunel.
Bulldogs trying to work in the sophomore. Like we said, 14 minutes in the most recent game against Bama State. Her most played run of the season. All the while, Sonia Citron. Niele Ivey calling her the breakout freshman, and she has certainly been that. A coach's dream, comparing her to Jackie Young.
Notre Dame staying in this 2-3 zone.
Bulldogs want to shoot over the top of it. Q Morrison nearly did. Instead, Dodson initiates for UND. Westbeld in front. Fought for hard.
Top defense in SEC for a reason.
Man.
Possession belongs to the
What a
Lady
play.
Bulldogs. Number 21.
Michaela Coombs gets another steal.
Again, knowing that if she were to get it up above her shoulders, Michaela would not be able to make a play, so she got it before she was able to bring it up.
Unbelievable stuff from Michaela Coombs. She had 8 steals coming into the game. She has already exceeded that in 3 quarters of play. Q Morrison's got space. Led to the baseline foul on Maya Dodson.
Great job with the high school All-American creating contacts into Westbeld.
So Richardson will go to the line. 21 at the stripe, the other 21 in this game. Nia Peoples comes in for Notre Dame. So Anea returns, and the first is no good for Reagan Richardson. Nine-second differential between shot and game. Miles doesn't care. 2 more free throws for Liv Miles.
The foul is on Georgia, number 14. Jenna Stady, her second personal.
Again, a quieter third quarter for Olivia Miles, but doesn't take much for her to get to the basket.
Feels like she just gets there in just a couple of steps.
Miles at the line.
First one's good. 3 of 5 on the day now for Olivia Miles. Miles second, good as well.
Number 3, Barker returns, replacing number 4, Combs, for the Lady Bulldogs.
Georgia on a potential final shot bid. Stady inside, gets it to go.
That's just her being stronger and bigger, taking her time.
Miles almost on the bank. 1 point each way. Fuse them together and you get a tie game. 3 quarters go by the wayside. This will come down to the 4th quarter in the final 10 minutes right here on Flow Hoops. 49-49. This thing has lived up to the billing and more. Two great teams into the fourth quarter, absolutely deadlocked.
I think when Georgia, at the end of this game, no matter which way it goes, looks at the stats, 8 for 15 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
A lot of points left on that line.
Notre Dame's cleaned it up, 5 of 7. They were at 50% at the halftime break. Nell has loved that straightaway three. Stady calms it down, as she so often does. Q Morrison from the paint, shoots short.
Quick shot for Q Morrison. A little unheard of in Georgia's offense right now.
Miles, strong to the paint. 2 more free throw attempts for Liv Miles.
Q Morrison, her second personal, team first.
Attempts number 7 and 8. Miles was shooting about 8-9 times a game coming in. Today she's got 14, plus now her 4th trip to the free throw line. I think it's fair to say that Notre Dame has kept Miles ready and now unleashing her against the top competition.
Very fair to say.
Liv's second is good.
Seems like Coach Johnny Taylor likes playing Jenna Stady and the high school All-American getting a layup just now together again. That's a double trouble right there with both post players.
That's 6'5" and 6'4" respectively for Hollingshed and Stady. A lot of length to overcome. Tie up and a foul. Mabry and Sarah Ashley Barker going at it, and the whistle is on Barker.
Sarah Ashley Barker, her first.
I think the discussion here is there was an elbow,
Number 1, Chapman.
which led to Barker hitting the ground, but yet she gets the foul call.
Number 34, West.
I think we'll see it here.
Replacing number 33,
Yep.
Brunel.
High degree of physicality all tournament long here in Daytona. Mabry kicks, Westbeld, 3, bottoms.
Number 34, Maddie Westbeld.
It's amazing, as much length as there is on the floor right now for Georgia. The longest team in this tournament has not played yet. That is the Beavers of Oregon State. They're up next against Michigan. Long way to go till we get there, though, here on Flow Hoops. Tremendous nightcap all across the board. These final 2 games are as good as you'll find. Dotson can't get it to go, but it's right back to her. Second time's the charm for Maya Dotson.
You give her 2 shots, she's gonna hit it. She's gonna hit one of them.
Richardson works it in here, Stady. Baseline feed, Barker from the corner. Oh, how about that from Jillian Hollingshed?
Jillian said, don't worry, my other All-American, I got you, I got your back.
Notre Dame is perfectly content to exchange buckets, though. Dotson up against Stady, foul Jenna Stady.
Dotson, graduate move right there, initiating the contact with Stady.
Number 20, Jordan Isaac enters the game.
3 fouls now on Jenna Stady. He'll still be in for, I'd imagine, the remainder of this game, if not the grand majority. Dotson's first is good. Hugh Morrison's ready to check back in for Georgia at the next available spot. Dotson's perfect.
Number 23.
Notre Dame trying to add some distance between them and the Bulldogs.
A stop and a make would give the Irish their largest lead, tying it at 7. Bulldogs hoping to put together another run like they had to end the first half. Kept Notre Dame scoreless for over 5 minutes. Somebody's losing the undefeated record here tonight. Chapman traveled.
Gotta put that ball down again. Those feet were moving fast.
The junior Chloe Chapman still trying to settle in offensively this season. Developed really well in her first full summer as a basketball player, was a dual sport athlete playing on UGA's soccer team. Block, Stady again. And it's UGA basketball.
It's impressive when you block it off of the offense.
Yeah.
That is quite the feat there.
Well, that's something you and I talked about yesterday, right? You know, the blocks are great, but if they don't get you possession, they don't mean that much. Jenna Stady has developed almost a rebound control where she just finds a way to A, stuff it, and B, get the ball back.
Bulldogs trying to get into the paint.
Notre Dame making it as difficult as they can. That wall is broken by Jordan Isaacs.
The foul is on number 30.
The foul is on Maddie Westbeld.
Maddie Westbeld. A 4 personal. Team first.
And weaving through defenders, being able to get that foul called.
2 shots.
And so now Jordan Isaacs will get 2 shots.
1 shot for number 20, Isaacs.
Jordan was the only non-senior starter last year for UGA. They love her ability on the defensive end of the floor. That's where they need her now after she hits both.
Hugh getting a break from guarding Olivia.
And did the job. Hugh Morrison rips it in at the last off of Notre Dame. Bulldogs have a chance to bring this within 1 or tie. Chapman pulls up and crushes it.
Chapman getting her flow back.
Big shot for Chloe Chapman. And a timeout called by the Fighting Irish. We'll take it with them. 5.5 to go. Notre Dame by 1. Notre Dame going to try and finish this thing out. Both teams just in their first year of 2 from Daytona Beach. The Irish will have Oregon State tomorrow in another incredible matchup. Georgia will get Marquette. Citron ran out of time.
Again, second time for Georgia.
Yep.
Forcing Notre Dame into a 5-second call.
Niele Ivey still trying to figure out the answer out of these timeouts. That's been a real Achilles heel for Notre Dame. Although that time Coach Ivey thought it was only 4 seconds. Stady, no. Right back to UGA.
Numbers, they have the advantage.
Quick hands, free throw line, jumper is good for Chloe Chapman. How about Chloe Chapman? A point a game coming in, but she's hit 2 buckets here down the stretch and been monumental for the Bulldogs. Dodson to the line.
The foul is on Georgia.
Dodson consistent here down the stretch for Notre Dame.
Chapman will pick up her first personal.
Medium timeout.
That is the under 5. Bulldogs take the lead. Nobody is going to get anything without fighting for it on Flow Hoops. Free throws for Maya Dodson. As the horns sound. And now up. All right, we're good.
Just checking to see if it works.
Yeah.
It works.
First one, good for Dodson. Maya, now 3 of 4 on the day. 59-59. Parker, Stady inside. Chapman wants it. They were going to Q Morrison. Notre Dame got it. Here's the outlet. Citron, short. Chapman pushing the other way. Chloe Chapman slows things down.
Great decision on not trying to go for a block on that last possession by Chapman.
Chapman rejects the screen. Off the glass.
Number 1, Chloe Chapman.
How about Chloe Chapman?
Coach Taylor was talking about us earlier this week. It doesn't matter who starts. If you're playing well, she will keep you in the game.
Yep. Honor the work was how she described it. Chloe Chapman is putting in that work today. Her best game by a mile. Speaking of,
5,
it's Olivia Miles.
She is hard to block as she extends that arm for those layups.
Almost impossible. 5'10", but plays much longer than that. That acceleration by Olivia Miles is standout. Hugh Morrison unable to convert. Citron. Offensive foul.
Defensive. One of the top defensive players in the SEC. Hugh Morrison does it again.
Sonia Citron, her second personal.
Finds a way.
Second, number 34.
That's Depoy right there for UGA.
Returns, replacing number 33. Brunel.
Putting her body on the line.
Dara Mabry into the game. She gets the closeout minutes here for Notre Dame. Morrison battling. Chapman. Jumper.
I don't want to speak this into existence, but do we have another overtime in our hands?
It has happened once already today. Very first game. Would be the odd number games going to OT, but there's still a lot of time left in this one. Over the top. That's UGA basketball.
She got lucky on that one. There was no box out.
Yeah.
Maya Johnson.
But she got the call nonetheless.
Number 35, Javen.
Second foul on Dotson. As far as foul watch goes,
Enters the game.
it's Maddie Westbeld under the spotlight. She's got 4, so got to be careful. She's guarding Hugh Morrison, currently in the zone.
Georgia needing to infiltrate this 2-3 zone, putting pressure on them.
Perhaps doing so with Nicholson. No, Westbeld without fouling the rip away. Miles trying to find Westbeld. That was tipped away by Chloe Chapman. Here's the outlet. Sarah Ashley Barker cannot hit.
The ball
Missed
stays with the
layups
Lady Bulldogs.
for Joni Taylor's team.
Layups and free throws.
Talk so much about efficiency, getting the high percentage plays. Georgia has
Number
had
14,
them, but they call them high
enters the
percentage
game
plays,
for the
not guarantees
Lady
for a
Bulldogs.
reason. Georgia living on the wrong side of variance in this contest.
Nicholson.
100 ticks remain to decide a winner in a battle of the undefeateds. Taken away by Maya Dodson. Two teams receiving votes. This win surely catapults you into the polls. Only one team can get it and pick up a quality victory come tournament time.
Georgia defense saving them again.
Yeah. 23 turnovers by the Irish. Timeout.
Timeout.
Joni Taylor.
Georgia.
1 minute and 2 seconds to possibly decide a winner between Notre Dame and Georgia. Overall, we have seen everything in this game. And for Georgia, the frustrating part of it is they've got 9/10 of an and one mixtape put together. They just have missed on those very last chances. And
Not an and one mixtape, Corey. Bringing it
is that
back.
too much of a throwback?
For most of our viewers, probably yes.
All right, well, I guess I'm old. Sad.
Keep going, keep going. Sorry to get you optimistic by stating that you're very old. I'm so sorry.
We're here in Game 4 at the Ocean Center, so it's going to get easier and easier to derail me as we go here. I expect by Game 4 tomorrow, which will be Game 8 in 24 hours, we will be ready to talk about, whatever's going on in the world. But in this one, we'll talk basketball. The game has certainly warranted it. Georgia missing on those plays. Notre Dame, similar though. You know, you've seen those plays out of the timeout. The inbound execution hasn't been there. So neither team has been at its sharpest, and despite that, it's been an incredibly high caliber of play.
100%. Well, I could say Georgia's defense has been Georgia basketball. What Coach Taylor has bought into that team. However, at the same time, now they're not capitalizing. And then for Notre Dame, again, being able to execute when stretch comes. And then a lot of times for Notre Dame, now looking at it, a lot of times out of timeouts, they are not been able to execute. They've had 5-second calls. Again, those are missed opportunities for Notre Dame that when they look after this game, they're going to look back and see how can they get better for tomorrow.
Neither team has a bucket in over 2.5 minutes of play. If somebody gets one, it might be decisive. Chapman, no. Q Morrison almost got the save. Great job by Dotson. Here's Mabry. Notre Dame backs it out. They can take about half of this remaining game clock. Miles turns on the Jets. Steady, Stady calms things with a timeout. Georgia will be able to use basically this entire clock. They can hold for essentially the final shot. Stady immediately went to that timeout. That's a veteran move right there. You've got it. You might as well use it. And now Joni Taylor gets to draw up a game-ending play.
And gets to advance it to the half court. So that's, again, huge, big-time decision-making by the senior. Graduate senior, my mistake.
Now, if you're Joni Taylor, who is taking the shot? Is it the hot hand, Chloe Chapman? Is it Q Morrison?
At this point, I think it's whoever's open.
Yeah, well.
If we can get an open basket, honestly, Sarah Barker has been pretty consistent from the three-point line. Not that you need it, but again, at the same time, if you can get a seal for Steady Stady, I'm going to put it into her.
It could be Stady. She is the leading scorer.
Again, Joni Taylor having the two bigs in with Jillian Hollingshed.
Yeah. If it's Jillian Hollingshed, you get yourself a freshman memory for all time. Probably going to initiate with about 10. That's usually how this goes. Notre Dame is going to sit in their zone and let Georgia take it. Notre Dame likely playing for a heave or our second OT of the day. Morrison activates. Miles got to it. It's tied up. Jump ball. Possession arrow keeps it with UGA. Now you've got 3 seconds, and it really is whoever's open for a moment.
They have a timeout. Let's see if Coach Taylor uses it, and they will.
Lady Bulldog.
Timeout. Georgia. So all that planning goes by the wayside because of Olivia Miles. She saw a chance to get in there and nuke the plan. She did. So now you basically have time for an inbound and a catch and shoot.
You do a little bit more. You might have a dribble. 3 seconds, you have a dribble.
Might get one dribble.
But now this turns, for me, I'm looking for possibly a lob play for one of the bigs.
Yep.
A seal. It's, again, 2-3. Again, you want that backside seal. Lob it up. Let them finish. Then you also have Q Morrison maybe taking it in, trying to get a foul called.
Yep. There was one inbound in that first quarter where Notre Dame completely forgot about Jenna Stady, and she was wide open. Suffice to say, that is not likely to happen on this inbound.
At the 3-second mark left in fourth quarter, I'm not sure the lack of focus will be there.
So Stady's going to start at the free throw line out of the initial break. It's Coombs. Shot clock violation.
Time and score.
One dribble. That was all they had, and it really needed to be.
That could not have been what Coach Taylor drew up.
And now it's a Notre Dame timeout, 1.2. It's got to be immediate catch and release, and even that is iffy, but
and I'm sure that looks like the Notre Dame coaching staff right now is a little bit uneasy with their decision making right now.
They're all huddled up together and having some type of animated conversation.
It will do that to you with 2 undefeated teams. One of these teams are going to be walking away disappointed. At the same time, though, Georgia Bulldogs have caused 2 5-second counts for Notre Dame. So that has to be a cause of concern for for Notre Dame coming into this. We've got two teams waiting on the sideline, Oregon State, Michigan, waiting for action.
It's going to be a good one when they take the floor as well. A top 20 clash between the Wolverines and the Beavers. They might be waiting a little bit longer unless there is a spectacular catch and release. And that's what Notre Dame, I'm sure their coaches were talking about. All right, how do we do it? Who does it?
I'm sure Miles would be in the mix.
Yeah, I think so.
And we got Coach Taylor getting some subs. Again, a defensive team, defensive sub here, which couldn't be too hard on a top defensive team.
That's the other thing, right? This is your defensive group, but realistically, everybody on this UGA roster is a strong defender. Yeah, Miles will be in that conversation, but I think, too, because you need a jump shot, Maddie Westbelt's right there. Avery Dodson, a lot of choices on this Notre Dame side.
If you were a betting man, what are you saying for this?
Well, Miles is going to inbound, so I gained some useful information there. Maya Dodson would be my guess. That's where Miles is trying to get to. Instead, it's Mabry. Mabry shoots, blocked. Jenna Stady.
She doesn't even run after the She said it's game over. Not game over, but we're going overtime.
One of the best blockers in the Southeastern Conference and the country does it again. Jenna Stady sends this game to overtime. Games 1 and 3 are not settled in 4 quarters here at the Ocean Center. We'll step aside, get our voices ready. Third game of the day. Here we go. OT 61-61 on Flow Hoops. Five minutes to try and decide this thing. Notre Dame and Georgia for the early season statement victory in women's college basketball and a spot in the top 25. Stady and Mabry. Advantage Dara Mabry.
Taylor starting off with the high school All-American.
Yeah.
With Jillian Hollingshed.
Gets the nod right out of the gate. Inside they go. Turnabout. Stady's defense is again impactful.
Again, overtime is about who has the most juice left in the tank. After 4 quarters already.
Oh, Stady wants a 3. That would have been Jenna's first from downtown this season. She's now taken 4 of them. If Jenna Stady's hitting 3s, it's game over, flat out. Stady could not hold Dodson down any longer.
Strong take, left-handed finish.
So first bucket of OT belongs to Endy. Free ball. Rebound, Chapman, Dotson scrapping for it all the way to the side. It stays.
Again, super important to be able to chin that ball off and rebounds. Again, once you keep it high, you're leaving up to possibly getting stolen.
Morrison utilizing the Hollingshed screen. And Georgia going to head down to the other end. Our first overtime here in Daytona. Marquette came out and dominated the extra period. Notre Dame going to try and do the same. This has exclusively been Maya Dotson's offensive show. Chapman with Baker flanking. Chapman takes it. Chloe Chapman.
Finishing off right where she started again. Hesitation being able to finish in the paint.
Chloe Chapman in double-digit territory. When you recognize the team playing against her, this is the best game that Chloe Chapman has put together in a UGA uniform. 10 points right now for Chloe Chapman. Miles responds in kind.
Miles.
A foul. They tag Miles.
On Notre Dame. Number 5, Olivia Miles, her second.
Chapman holding the ball in her hands that time as well. And her season high was 2 points. She's got 10. Here's Stady. Nearly had her own miss. Still a chance at it. Stady got it. Looking for the foul. It's not coming. Tie up. Jump. Arrow this way.
Again, nice job, Baker getting in the mix and tying it up, holding it down on the same side of the floor.
Chapman rolls. She's the first look for Morrison. Instead, Hollingshed. Joni Taylor urging her squad to come up. Create some space underneath here. Hollingshed. Inside, V. Dotson. Hollingshed cannot get the edge right up against the baseline. Notre Dame holds. Maya Dotson doing absolutely everything in OT. Still plenty of time for Notre Dame here. They can get a 2-score lead under 2 with a make. Miles attacking and converting. Olivia Miles.
Again, she is hard to stop when she is driving to the paint.
ACC Freshman of the Year collision course. Olivia Miles. Lob ball. Oh my goodness.
Sarah Ashley Barker for 2.
Man.
Oh.
If she had dunked, that would have been...
We're doing alleys in overtime. That's where we're at. Got it. What a pass by Q Morrison and a finish by Barker. Here's Miles for 3, short. This is 4-on-4. Morrison counts it.
Basket is good by Q Morrison.
Big time players making big time plays. Again, the graduate senior getting an and one, closing in under a minute in overtime.
Daria Mabry, her second personal.
We knew the bonus year was going to be the headline. How about Q Morrison? A perfect alley pass and now an and one for the lead. Yes.
Timeout.
Timeout. Niele Ivy and Notre Dame. How do you stop Agent Q? Bulldogs by 1 on Flow Hoops. At the end of the fourth quarter, neither team could score in overtime. Both Notre Dame and UGA have found a way. The Bulldogs led by their incredible point guard, Hugh Morrison. What does Notre Dame do out of the timeout? They have had difficulties in these spots today. Miles, guarded by Chapman. Miles requests the screen. Dodson lost the ball. Stady has it. And a stoppage to confer.
And Burton. Whistle.
The Georgia fans were going to erupt.
Yeah.
If that was called anything other than a my bad.
Yep. I think making sure that Jenna's foot stayed in bounds, it did. Hugh Morrison with a 13-second difference in shot and game. Inside, Stady. It stays for Stady. Georgia by 3.
Stady does it again.
22 and a half seconds left. They're going to make sure that Notre Dame has the timeout. They want to call it. Shot clock is off. Bulldogs leading by 3 and now trying to sort everything out.
Figure out where they want to take the inbounds.
Yep. Timeout possessed and utilized by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So, 23 seconds left.
30 seconds.
You don't necessarily need a 3. You can get a 2 and a foul if that's what pleases you on offense. So a number of options available for Notre Dame. But fittingly for UGA, their leading scorer, Jenna Stady, puts them up.
And at this point for Notre Dame, seeing who is really, if they are going to go for that three-pointer, who will take it? Realistically, no one in the game has been consistent enough. Realistically, Marbury has hit one, and Westbeld has hit one.
Yeah, I'd imagine
Brunel.
It's Westbeld if you're going to necessarily go that direction. Brunel had that one from straight away. That was really early. And you're never going to doubt a Mabry in a Notre Dame uniform. But the 3 has really not been the forte of either team. Notre Dame's 3 of 12 in that category. Ditto for Georgia, the exact same stat line. You're not going to be monumentally upset at 25% from downtown, but I wouldn't call it a go-to. So the Citron's in the game. That bears monitoring. Westbeld. Inbounds Miles. If it's a 2, it's got to be relatively quick. Westbeld steps back, short rebound, Chloe Chapman. To Stady, and the foul. Jenna Stady walks down to the other end of the floor. One make. All but puts this thing away.
Mabry, her third personal.
Stady is 3 of 5 from the line in this game. A 69% shooter on the season coming in. It's good. Was there ever a doubt? If your name is Steady, you're going to be icy at the free throw line when it counts. Second. No good. Notre Dame needs something miraculous, and they need it fast. Westbeld pulls up 3. Second chance. Mabry, no. The University of Georgia Bulldogs are still undefeated and bound for the top 25.
Awesome job. Both teams, this game did not disappoint.
An outstanding showing. You can hear the cheers, the UGA faithful making the trip in spades down from Athens to Daytona Beach. And Joni Taylor going to get her fans fired up. That is a big win. Here's the chant for the Bulldogs. UGA emerges victorious in overtime. Had to go the distance. Georgia gets it done over Notre Dame. What an incredible game. A number of different players getting it done for this Georgia Bulldogs team. Could talk with any of them when we go down to Cat, but realistically, there was one steadying influence for this Georgia Bulldogs team, and that reason is with Kat right now. Kat, take it away.
They call you Steady Stady for a reason. You delivered in terms of your team's offensive with over 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 blocks, I apologize. How did you contribute to your team's success today?
Man, I just got to be there for them every night. They show up for me when I'm not playing well. So, I don't think I played well the past couple of days, and this is something I needed to get me going so I can make it up to them. So I've had that chip on my shoulder the past couple of days, and yeah.
Yeah, improved from the last game of only putting up 8 points, now to 15 after today. And this was Georgia's first test, real test. Knowing that you guys played a team like Notre Dame who has success in the women's basketball program, how does it feel that, this was you passed the first test?
It's the first of many tests, and, credit to Notre Dame, they're a great team, but, we came out on top. We played our butts off, and coming into overtime, we knew it was going to be a tight game, so having a test like this, early like this, gets us ready for March.
And you have another matchup tomorrow. What's the mindset that Coach Taylor's just going to really focus on in the next 24 hours?
We don't get ready to celebrate this because we play a really good team tomorrow. So, just taking it game by game, and they're going to get us ready tonight. We just got to listen to them, and they put us in great positions every day. All
right, well, best of luck the rest of it. Thanks, Jenna. Sending it to y'all.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Jenna. Jenna Stady gets it done at the free throw line, secures the game-sealing block and game-winning rebound as the Georgia Bulldogs are now 5-0. Notre Dame is 5-1. An absolutely phenomenal showing across the board. Notre Dame was up early, nearly up double digits. They were hitting everything. But Georgia withstands, comes back, and remains undefeated. The Georgia Bulldogs, unblemished and untouched. Now, we'll step aside and get ready for our nightcap here on day number 2. The Michigan Wolverines, the Beavers of Oregon State. It's top 20 clash time on Flow Hoops.